Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, whether you're joining me from the present or the future. Welcome back to another FutureFight Vanguard video. Today we're going to be continuing with our V-EB01 set. This is our extra booster set that just came out in standard. Obviously, if it came out for standard, it means that you guys can use it as premium, use the cards in premium as well. But this is our new standard-based set that just came out. And we've been going over the decks. Yesterday we went over Tachikaze. Today we are going to be talking about the Spike Brother deck. So yeah, just a quick announcement before then. If you guys haven't checked out the update video I made a couple of days ago, make sure you go check that out. It's like a detailed video about what will be happening with this channel going forward in the future. Also the announcement of my second channel, so you guys can check that out. I will leave all that stuff down in the description below for you guys to check out. So without further ado, yeah, let's get right into the deck. Not much to say about that. This is the standard deck, so there's no G-Zone, as you guys can see. And then let's talk about the main deck and all the cool remade cards that we have here. So, ooh, sorry guys. First we have 4 General Siegfried going into our grade 3s. It has 2 Vanguard only abilities, which means that it's really only useful on Vanguard Circle. So this is our ride that we want to go into all the time. This is the grade 3 that we want to be on. And Juggernaut Maximum can be okay on our Vanguard, but it works best as Rearguard because it can be used to its fullest potential on Rearguard Circle. Ooh, sorry guys, it's like extremely dusty in my house for some reason. But yeah, let's talk about General Siegfried's skills. So it is an activation Vanguard skill that is not once per turn actually. So you can use it as many times as you want in a turn, but do be careful of it because the cost, which is just the counterboss 1 part, because the put a rearguard in the soul part is not really a cost because you're getting the same rearguard back, unless you just miscalculated and you counterboss 1, put a rearguard in the soul, and then you search your deck and you don't have one more of that card, then you just -1 for no reason, and you just counterboss 1 for no reason. So that's a huge minus. So always be sure to count the cards that you have. Like count your copies of your cards before you use General Siegfried skill, so that you won't have to go into the deck and whip the skill, and then your opponent will probably not let you take it back because they're not supposed to. Because you did activate a skill, you did use the cost, and so you should be able to live with the regret of your situation. But yeah, its skill is counterboss 1, put a rearguard in the soul. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as the card you put in the soul for the cost, and then you call it to Rearguard Circle until the end of the turn. The unit called and General Siegfried himself get plus 10,000 power, and you shuffle your deck. So, like I said, very important. I only use it with my front rows, so at the most, I'm counterbossing 2 a turn to use for General Siegfried. If I can just counterboss 1, then I just counterboss 1. But there's not really any real ways to countercharge in this deck besides healing off damage, so you really want to be careful with your counterblast because you only get 5 usually, unless you heal. Then you might get 6 or 7 if you heal once or twice. So then its second ability is when it hits, when the attack of it hits and it's on the Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 2, stand one of your rearguards and choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. This is really good because you don't have to hit a Vanguard, you can hit a rearguard as well. So if you really want to just focus on clearing out your opponent's board, you can attack their rearguard with your Vanguard, and then when the attack hits, you can stand one of your other units, making it so that it wasn't pointless for you to not attack Vanguard, and then you can just destroy another one of their rearguards as well. So it's really good at control, and it does allow you, it allows you to choose the rearguard that you're retiring, which is pretty cool. Like, you don't have to retire front row. It's not really restricted in any way besides having to hit. So it puts like a huge on-hit pressure down for your opponent, especially if you have some rearguards that you don't want to lose, because usually both players, if they're experienced enough, will know the most important rearguards on the board. And so you know that if you let General Siegfried hit, you know the Spike Brother player is going to choose to retire that, and that's the unit that you don't want to lose as the opposing player. Then we have our second grade 3, which is Juggernaut Maximum. Like I said, he's best on the Rearguard Circle, but can be fine on Vanguard Circle because it also has the Force Imaginary Gift and a Vanguard skill. The Vanguard Rearguard skill is when it is placed, this unit gets plus 10,000 power. So first time that you ride this card, it gets plus 10,000, or place it on the Rearguard, it gets plus 10,000. And then at the beginning of your main phase, when it's on the Rearguard Circle, you can put this card into your soul, search your deck for up to 1 Juggernaut Maximum, call it to Rearguard, and shuffle your deck. So not only are you building soul with this card, and it's really good because of that. But you're also getting another copy of it, replacing itself to the field, using the skill to get another 10k to it, and then also at the same time you're thinning your deck. So a lot of the effects in this Spike Brothers deck, like search out other cards or get other cards or put triggers back from the drop zone to the deck. So you're thinning your deck so that you can only check triggers, and it's really hard for you to not check triggers at that point. So it makes the game highly favorable towards you in terms of sackiness. Then we have 4 Spike Bouncer. It has 2 abilities. The first one is Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When it is placed, you can counterboss 1, soul blast 1, then look at cards from the top of your deck equal to the grade of your Vanguard, then call up to 1 card from among them and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So what this means is that, honestly, in order for you to play this card, you will have to be riding to grade 2 or be on grade 2 or be on grade 3 already. So the only choices that you have is counterboss 1, soul blast 1, and if you're on grade 2, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, call 1, put 1 to bottom. Or if you're grade 3, look at the top 3 cards from your deck, call 1, put 2 to bottom. So very, very useful to get some early pressure off against your opponent when you're calling a card off of it, because it's essentially free because you're just using your resources as far as counterboss, soul blast to call a card. So you're not like going a card for a card, so it's like just a plus. So it's really good. Then we have the auto rearguard ability that says at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, you can counterboss 1, put this unit into your soul, and draw a card. So I don't know if I would use the second ability ever, just because General Siegfried is so important and our counterboss are so important. But if I had Spike Bouncer on the field, he would probably just stay on the field until I'm ready to intercept with him or something. Like, I don't really want to just shove him to the soul just to draw a card. Then we have we have 4 high-speed Bracky. High-speed Bracky is basically just a remade version and a grade 2 version of Juggernaut Maximum. It has it's a gain 10,000 skill is only on the rear guard though. So when it's on the rear guard circle, you can get plus 10,000 power to it when it's placed. And then at the beginning of your main phase, same as Juggernaut Maximum, you can put this unit into your soul, and then you can search for up to 1 high-speed Bracky, call to rear guard circle, shuffle your deck. So it allows you to call out a new one at the beginning of a turn and get the power that the other one has lost. So the other one's useless to you now, and it also builds your soul for stuff like Spike Bouncer and General Siegfried's skill. Then for our last grade 2, we have 3 Treasured Black Panther. This used to be the 10k vanilla of Spike Brothers, but it is now a 10k with a skill. So its skill is when it's on the rearguard circle and it attacks, you can soul blast 1, and this card either gets plus 5,000 power or plus 15,000 power until the end of the battle. And if you choose for it to gain plus 15,000, then you have to put it into the soul at the end of the battle. So if you know that your Treasure Black Panther is going to stand from General Siegfried, I would just sorry guys, I would just attack with it first, and then you can use the skill, but choose only the 5,000. And then if you know that General Siegfried is going to restand it, then you can use the 15,000 the second time when you restand it. So that's pretty good. Then moving into our grade 1s, we have 4 Gyro Slinger. Gyro Slinger is kind of like a Spike Bouncer, but like grade 1 version. Gyro Slinger is Vanguard Rearguard. When placed, put a card from your hand into the soul. Look at the top cards from your deck equal to your Vanguard's grade. Call up to 1 card from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And then the called unit that you called out gets plus 5,000. So you did have to shove a card into the soul for this, so it is a 1-for-1. So it's not a plus. However, the unit that you call does get plus 5,000 power, and it does allow you to look at the top cards of your deck in case your hand is full of triggers or you don't have something efficient that you can call. So that's really, very good. Then we have 4 Commander Gary Gannon. So what Gary Gannon does is when it's on the rearguard circle, when an attack that it boosted hits a rearguard or hits a Vanguard, you can put this card into your soul, draw 2 cards, and put a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So this card allows you to lose 2 cards and draw 2 cards. So it is basically like a 1-for-1 switch, but sometimes it's really, really good just because you get to switch out your hand and filter your hand essentially. For those of you who played in Premium, it's very close to how Water and Gear Chronicle used to draw you 2 cards and let you put 1 back. That's the same thing that Gary Gannon does, except it has to hit and then it moves itself to soul. So basically, I know that this card has helped me sometimes draw into a grade 2 where I don't have a grade 2 ride. Like I can ride Gyro Slinger and then use the skill to look at the top card, and if I happen to get Gary Gannon or if I have a Gary Gannon in my hand, I can just play it behind Gyro Slinger, attack their Vanguard. They're probably going to let it hit, and then I draw 2 cards and put one at bottom. And one of those 2 cards plus my drive check will be 3 cards that I get that turn. So I will probably get a grade 2 or whatever grade I need in that. And if I don't, then I feel like I'm just unlucky. Then we have 4 Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy used to be our 8K vanilla in Spike Brothers, but it now is an 8K with a skill as well. It is best on the rearguard circle because it only has rearguard only skills. The first rearguard only skill is when it is placed, you can put a card that's not grade 1 from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck, and then this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So it means that you can recycle triggers with it, grade 2s and grade 3s, which is really, really good just because recycling triggers is like amazing in this deck just because the deck already thins itself, but recycling triggers on top of that is like an extra bonus good. Then we have an auto rearguard skill that says at the beginning of your main phase, put this unit into your soul, search your deck for up to 1 Wonder Boy and call it to rearguard circle, and then you shuffle your deck. So same skill that Juggernaut Maximum and Bracky have on the second part of the skill allows you to just recall out another one so that you can recycle more cards, get more power. Then we have 2 White Tight End. I said Tiger because of how the art looks. That's funny. It looks like Volta Bear from League of Legends. So we have 2 Volta Bear. That's what we're going to call them. And so what Volta Bear does is when it's on the rearguard circle, when it attacks, if you have 4 or more rearguards, then this unit gets plus 10,000 power. So it can attack for 18 just being on the rearguard as long as you have 4 or more rearguards, which you usually will anyways. So I don't consider it a big deal to run this as our 2-of spot as opposed to the other options that we have. So then we have 1 Mecha Trainer. Yeah, we have 1 Mecha Trainer. Mecha Trainer is like most starters in Standard, where it just allows you to ride upon it, draw a card, helps you get to some grades that you don't have, and helps simplify things so that the starters aren't moving out doing all kind of crazy nonsense. And we'll talk about it more, the difference of starters more, as more starters come out. But I think every starter for the start of their clan is just going to get this basic starter. And then we are going for our trigger lineup. We're running 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal. Pretty standard. We run 4 Silence Joker and 4 Sonic Breaker. These are our standard crits with a higher guard shield amount. Then we have 4 Cheer Girl Maryland. This is our Sentinel trigger of the deck. So it's our draw trigger. That's also our PG. Allows us to put on the guard circle and discard a card to be shielded perfectly from an attack. And then also if you happen to lose one of your PGs to the damage zone, you're checking a draw trigger on defensive, and then you're getting to put power to your Vanguard and draw, which is always a help and always welcome versus PGs that you just lose them and nothing happens. Then we have 4 Cheer Girl Tiara. Cheer Girl Tiara is basically just our 20k shield standard heal trigger, and there's not another heal trigger that you can run, but you do want to run heal triggers. So yeah, not much to say about that. Is pretty much a given that we were gonna run that card at 4 just because of what it is. So we're loading our replays, and let's load Spike Game 1. We're actually playing against Royal Paladin. We get our hand, our opponent rides, passes, we ride, and attack, place Gary Gannon. And we didn't have a grade 2, so we placed Gary Gannon, our opponent let it hit. But we actually got our grade 2 in the drive check, so our opponent plays 4 rear guards so that he can use Flashblade skill. We take 2 damage. And then we just attack, and we get a crit on him, so he takes 2 damage. He rides Soul Saver, does the Soul Saver cheese play early. He gets 5 soul early so that he can attack. He gets a draw trigger and a crit, so I was like, what the hell? But we actually get a heal too, so we heal 1 off, and then we PG 1. We ride General Siegfried, we play Juggernaut Maximum, and then we just use the skill to get another Juggernaut Maximum, and then we use Wonder Boy to return a card, and then we use Siegfried to get another Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy skill, return a card to the bottom. Then we attack for 23, he guards. We attack for 43, he perfect guards. And then we just attack for 33 to Vanguard. He re-rides, and then uses Pongal skill with Akane. We PG his Vanguard, he checks a critical and a draw again. So he's pretty much sacking us now. And so we're having to guard with like almost everything from our hand. We rewrite a General Siegfried. We use the skill of Wonder Boy to put a card back, and then we use the skill of Juggernaut to get itself as well. Then we use Siegfried to get another Wonder Boy and another Siegfried skill to get Juggernaut Maximum. We attack for 23, our opponent guards it. We attack for 43, and our opponent blocks it, and then we just attack rear guard. So our opponent attacks for 23, we no guard it. and we don't check a heal. So unfortunately, we just lost that game just because we could never check triggers, whereas our opponent did check a crit heal, or sorry, a crit draw like every single turn that he needed to from riding to grade 3. So unfortunately, we did not check the same triggers, or even remotely same. But you win some, you lose some. In standard, that's how things roll. So yeah. So we're loading up Spike's game 2. We're playing against the Spike Brother mirror match. Actually, we ride Gary Gannon. We draw a card. We pass turn to our opponent. Our opponent rides and attacks us. We take it. It's a tiger. We use Spike Bouncer, and every time I use Spike Bouncer, I get a trigger off of it. I don't know why, but we attack for 3 times. He doesn't get any triggers, and then he guards the last one. So then he plays Gyro Slinger himself, looks at the top 2, calls a Gary Gannon, and then he attacks for 10 to our rear guard. We block it, and then he attacks our Vanguard because he wants to be able to get the Gannon off. So I let him get it off, and then we move Gyro Slinger back, and we have our cards that we played just now, which is Juggernaut, Maximum, etc. And then we get a heal trigger, put in the power on the rear guard circle, and then we swing. We're making our opponent guard with a lot. He rides the Siegfried as well and plays the Juggernaut Maximum down. And then he plays another Juggernaut Maximum, uses the skill of Siegfried to make that power go up super high. I was hoping that he didn't check a critical here, and he didn't, so that was thankful. But I also forgot about General Siegfried skill, which I couldn't guard at the time just because it was too big. So we had to guard one of the rear guards, and then he attacks from one of our rear guards. So we actually played Bracky up in the front row. It gets 10k. We use Siegfried skill to call Bracky. And then we use Siegfried skill on Gyro Slinger to call a Gyro Slinger. And we use the skill of Gyro to shove the card to Soul, check top 3, get a Gary Gannon, which works out perfectly. And then we attack for 31 to Vanguard. He gets a heal trigger, but we do hit with Gary Gannon, drawing 2, putting back 1. Then he PGs us, and then we check double crit to put on rear guard circle, so he can't guard that because it's way too big, and so he has to take 3 damage, and that just ends up being GG for him. Moving into our game 3 here, we are going to open up our game 3. And load Spike's game 3. Game 3, we're playing against Royal Paladin again, so unfortunately not the same person we played the first time, but we use Gyro Slinger skill to get a rear guard put in the back. Our opponent crits us. We ride to grade 2, we get Spike Bouncer, call a Bracky. We use the skill at the beginning of the main phase to get another Juggernaut. We attack, and our opponent checks the trigger, but we're too big anyways. And so, yeah, so then we play cards. We're attacking. The recording's going super fast. So our opponent checks the draw trigger, and then rides Alfred early, gets out of Blaster Blade, adds Forge to Vanguard Circle. Then he attacks with his Vanguard Circle. He thankfully doesn't get a crit, so I don't have to guard the other column. And then we have to ride Juggernaut Maximum, unfortunately. So we attack with Treasure Black Panther. Fortunately, we were able to put him to early damage, like good early damage, so we were able to check a crit, and the rear guard just ends up being way too big for him, and he doesn't have the cards to guard in hand because he only has 1 10k guard and 3 5k blocks, which would not have been enough to guard a 43k column. But yeah, that ends up being the 3 games that we're going to play for Spikes, and with that being said, that wraps up the video for our future fight on the Spike Brother deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video. It helps a lot more than you guys think. I also wanted to thank you guys, some of you guys, for your very sweet, encouraging comments. It is kind of hard to post videos every day with the lifestyle that I live, but I try to get videos every day out to you guys on time, because I know that you guys, some of you guys, really look forward to my videos, and I really look forward to giving you guys my content. So I try to make things consistent on a consistent basis, giving you guys a video every day, especially when there are new future fights to be done. I'm more every day about that, more so than other videos, which I'm going to start spacing out with my schedule. But yeah, you guys can also check out the subscription button down below. Speaking of the channel, you guys can subscribe to the channel to support it, and then click the bell button next to the subscribe button. Basically just gives you a notification every time one of our videos goes live. And then you can check our social medias down below as well, which are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you want to support the channel a little more than liking and subscribing, then you can check out our Patreon and also our merch store. Our Patreon has tons of contests, and you can join like a custom Discord and all that stuff. And then our merch store has tons of merch for you guys to look through and buy if you're just really into the Cardfight Empire logo design, or you want to support, buy merch, whatever, buy a hoodie that I'm wearing right now. But yeah, with that being said, this has been Josh from Cardfight Empire, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace, guys.